in China, and we are now spreading into India and beyond. Scary. Domesticated mammals. Other mammals become more susceptible to infection, increase in infectivity, especially in the urban regions, plus possibility of further mutation increases. Despite the fact that we've had a lot of things that are increasing our mutation chance, it doesn't seem like I've actually had any mutations. Kind of weird, but I'm not upset about it. We're going to go for some cold resistance so we can spread faster in places like Russia. I would like to make sure we get into places like Greenland. Try to remember, starting off in China, where are we going to have the most trouble? New Zealand can be tricky, but usually okay. Madagascar, not too bad. Greenland's always a challenge. I think it's actually the Caribbean that we're going to struggle with the most. So going for a little bit of drug resistance to speed up our spread in Europe and beyond could certainly be beneficial. Wouldn't mind getting another level of that for 27, and notice how much DNA we are getting. Mainly because we started with so much extra severity that is giving us so much extra gas from all of these bubbles. It's pretty darn helpful, if I were to say. So domesticated mammals, probably good, again, for urban countries, good in Europe and beyond. I think we will go ahead and pick that up. That leads to asymptomatic carriers. There it is. Virus can infect some hosts, and they will show no sign of infection, dramatically increasing infectivity, especially in high population areas. It also greatly reduces severity, which reduces the likelihood that people are going to shut down their borders, and that seems like a very, very good thing for man. Not good for the world, but a very good thing for this particular simulation. Yeah, the asymptomatic nature of this is, I think, one of the reasons this disease is so freaking weird. Like, otherwise, the lethality rate's not good. I mean, it's very infective, but it wouldn't be that huge of a deal. It's mostly because we can't tell who's been infected, so who knows how much it's spreading unchecked. That makes this disease just that much weirder. It's so unknown. Heck, for all I know, I've already had the darn thing. And I just didn't even know it because that many people could be asymptomatic. We don't know. Because until we get antibody tests done, it's hard to say just how many people are asymptomatic. You get the point? The lack of information is just throwing people for a loop. Virus X. What scientists feared most happened. NCOV has now begun mutating transmissions at an astounding rate, almost undetectable. It seems nothing can slow it down now. I'm sorry, real quick, I want to point out, mutating transmissions, as far as I can tell, there are no more transmissions to mutate. Is this really the best thing to get? Yeah. Mutating transmissions does nothing when I already have them all. Okay, well, I mean, fine, whatever. Let's go to some cold resistance. We're going to stock up on some DNA. Now, starting off in China, we do not have any resistance to the heat or the cold, and it's not innately. So, there we go. We did get into Madagascar just before they shut things down, which is great. Let's go for some level of heat resistance. I'm very concerned that the Caribbean is going to shut down their ports in a minute. We already have the port from Russia shut down. Please, Norway, send something into Greenland right about now. More mutations won't do me a lot of good right now. I'm going to go for a genetic hardening. For some reason, the genetic shuffle's been moved by one. Why? I don't know. That's kind of bizarre. And the port got shut down for the Caribbean. I did say that was a risk, and there it is. Boo! Alright, so this already sounds like we are going to have to restart, and we didn't even manage to get into Greenland. Okay, so what this tells me is if I'm going to restart, we should go for asymptomatic a lot sooner so we can get rid of that severity. I'm going to go ahead and restart, get to roughly the same points, and I'll be right back. Okay, this time around I got lucky and got into all of the islands fairly early by just focusing very heavily on the transmissions, getting down to asymptomatic, not touching any symptoms, and also picking up some good resistances fairly early on. As soon as we started getting into the United States and into Europe, I just went for as much drug resistance as I could, etc., etc. Alright, so now the time we just go ahead and start ramping up that mutation. We're going to go for triggering the mutagenesis, which sounds pretty cool. I hope it's as cool as it sounds. And then we're going to go for the nausea and the vomiting and the diarrhea for a lot of extra infectivity. Acute kidney injury, also known as AKI. Okay, a sudden episode of kidney failure or damage that happens within a few hours or a few days. AKI causes a buildup of waste products in your blood. Gross. Then we have dysentery. Is this actually a potential symptom? Dysentery? I wasn't aware of that. Pulmonary edema, we can pick that up. That goes to pulmonary fibrosis, also a bit of lethality. Not to worry about that right now. We should be getting a lot of mutation, right? So let's go ahead and also spend some points slowing down the cure just to buy myself a little bit of extra time and some extra score as we continue to spread. What is missing? Morocco and Algeria, so just northwest Africa. No problemo, man. And look how much freaking DNA we're getting. Holy crap, absolutely no problem. Let's go for the pulmonary fibrosis and the acute kidney injury, which is not the same as kidney failure per se, though that's effectively what is happening. We just mutated hemoptysis for free. Okay. Algeria and Morocco have closed their land borders. I assume we're going to have a good way of getting in there just by air transmission. And there we go. Even with their land borders closed, it ultimately did not matter. Perfect. So we got hemoptysis for free. Coughing up blood from inflamed bronchi increases infectivity and is fatal in extreme cases. We can go for the sepsis, the first stage of a life-threatening reaction to an infection. Sepsis, your immune system overreacts to an infection and starts to attack your own tissues and organs. We need as much lethality as possible right now because I'm going to start running out of gas pretty quickly, and they're going to be curing me faster and faster as time goes on. And now that I've manipulated my genes, that's only going to get worse. We did, however, just mutate severe sepsis, which is stage 2. The pathogen affects multiple organs and tissue types, causing body-wide infections that spread fast and can be fatal. The final stage is septic shock. Catastrophic system-wide infection, cell death of multiple tissue types, causing dangerously low blood pressure, body-wide organ failure, and rapid death, missing the Oxford comma. 53 points is a little expensive for me. I'm going to have to hope that we get some mutation to make that work. Other than that, I think we just have to slow down the cure by going for things like a genetic reshuffle. The problem is this is mega brutal difficulty, which means that the more people we have infected, the more expensive things are going to be. There's septic shock. Let's go ahead and do a shuffle. Send things back down to 67%. And at this point, I'm out of gas. So either this lethality ends up being enough and carries me to victory, or we have already lost, and it's going to be pretty darn difficult for me to beat this on mega brutal difficulty. Pretty darn difficult, actually. And by pretty darn difficulty, I mean borderline impossible. We got very lucky this time around with getting into the islands as early as we did. So seriously, though, here comes some DNA as this continues to ramp up. Oh, we're at 90, what, about 100%, okay. Cost is 42 DNA. If I can get this quickly, we might be able to set it back and grab it. Okay, down to 96%. Everyone immediately gets infected again, and it's still not enough. Here comes the second round of the cure. When the first one isn't good enough, here comes number 2. Oh boy. For real though, this is a difficult one. You can go for one more reshuffle, down to 97%. Everyone's been infected again. Round 3. And oh, we're at 1%. Oh, good lord. I don't know. Can we hang on, grab this. Is that enough to slow it down? I don't think so. I think a few people are going to survive. And if that's the case, I'm going to let this pass as a failure just because at this point I think humanity deserves it. Really, really close. Potential, there's still a teensy bit of cure progress potential and only 100 million people. Oh, they got cured. No, okay. Well, at this point, humanity deserves to live. We're going to fail the scenario technically, but maybe this is supposed to be reassuring to people or something. That's serious. I don't think you can do a lot better than that. At this point, it's a matter of luck. I did the best that I possibly could. We got eradicated, but within the course of about 2 years,